Welcome back to Wrestling with Ski. Thankfully, it only took two times for that to actually work. But we're going to get into the go home episode of Dynamite, which, I didn't think it was, the worst thing in the world. Matches were good, at least the ones they let actually be matches. There was some where you just kind of look at and you're all, what was the point of that? Because it didn't even feel like a match. It was really just an ass whooping. And the women, they had their moments, but overall, I thought it was a good night. And they once again started off with Bryan Danielson. So this time it was against Rocky Romero. Orange Cassidy was there with him, all of that. But, the beautiful, sportsmanship, the handshake at the beginning. Orange was there to distract him. But, otherwise, that was just a great match, in my opinion. It was another good way to start out the show, which they seem to do a lot with Bryan. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, by the way. Like, he starts out the show really, really good. They always seem to have really good, like, starting matches, like opening bout, They do that better than, WWE does normally. Normally they have irritating talking segments, which aren't even really, depending on who's giving it, sometimes aren't terrible. But another great match with, they had submissions, great counters all across the board. Striking, people were diving across like everywhere, doing their dives, doing their flying, doing their submissions, striking, like it was everything you wanted it to be and know it could be. I knew that if it wasn't Danielson's fault, because I almost pulled a JR. He called him Bryan Danielson. Granted, it was directly after he called him Daniel Bryan. I went from Daniel Bryan in one sense to Bryan Danielson, all nice and impressed. 13 milliseconds later, that happened, but I even still do it, but I'm not getting paid really to do it. Like, I get paid cents, literally, barely anything. Yeah, I'm paid lots, but regardless, I'm calling him Daniel Bryan, Bryan Danielson, American Dragon, Danielson, just Bryan, whatever the hell you want to call him. He still puts on great matches and he still does really, really good there. And it was another great match. Again, at the beginning, they both looked good. So he's working with a lot of people. They're having all these matches, and he's letting lots and lots of people shine and show off what they can do, because Danielson, he can do a lot of stuff. He can do all kinds of, he can fly, he can do the strikes, he can play the submission game. Like, he's technically amazing at what he does. And that works really well with, younger people or people that you don't know a lot about, but it's a great, test, I'd say, for him. So I thoroughly enjoy him starting out the show. When he does, that was really good. And it was a great match for him to have. Again, he looks good. The other guy looked good. And it was a good match to have leading into Full Gear this Saturday when he faces off against Miro to see who's going to get that world title shot. I really don't know what to, I don't know. I'll wait and see, what they do on Rampage before I, go and make up my mind on that. But it's gonna be a hell of a match. We got to hear Miro do his, he got a good promo. Yeah, towards Bryan about their match at Full Gear, so that was good. I like Miro. And his promos are all good. Like, to me, you can believe that he's at least playing it up and everything just good to me. Maybe I'm just so happy after seeing all that things he did. His great ascent in WWE, then his great fall, and then how big he was in Rusev Day, but he never got anything for it. Like, maybe I'm just happy to see him doing good. But I think that'll be a hell of a match. Those two put together, like, that's going to be really, really good. And I'm sure they're going to let them actually have their way with it and be really, really good. They're not going to get held back or held down or anything. Here, go. So I think that's going to be one of the better matches of the whole entire night. No offense to everyone else, just to see what those two could do together with, the training wheels finally allowed to be off. I think that's going to be really good. Shivani, supposed to interview the inner circle, but America Top Team attacks him from behind on the ramp. Sadly, no Paige Van Zant. But I mean, after she was searched so many times to see it, find adult content over after, I'll take all 5 of you on at once. After that line, I mean, I guess, but yeah, bummer. I mean, like she really does anything but eye candy. But they came out, they attacked. Lambert flapped his jibs. Like what else is new? I mean, he can do it and he can incite people to hate him. So I'm not judging the guy for that. It starts my damn head. And after they attack him, I'll leave everyone laid out to say that he's going to, make sure that Dan Lambert's going to be the one that pins Jericho at Full Gear. Then he's going to tap him out to the walls of Jericho, Wednesday night during the show. We're to see, where they go from there. But that beatdown, I mean, got to see what happens. And again, this is what Andre Arlovsky, Junior Dos Santos. I mean, there's lots of pieces there that have had really, really good, UFC careers. I want to see how their, bodies and all that hold up to getting slammed around and everything that happens because, it's a street fight. So we have to see how they're going to do, with that. They're going to be just beating the hell out of each other left, right, and indifferently. So that's the big one. I mean, we all know what Jericho and Hager, we all know Sammy, all of them can do. Everyone knows. We've figured that out. I want to see like the former MMA guys, and they're still probably training and doing all that. I mean, whatever, but see what their bodies do when they're whooping on people, going through, kendo sticks, tables, whatever the hell's going to happen. I'm just really curious to see what they, do with that Saturday night at Full Gear. That's the intriguing part of the match. I'm sure they're going to do a lot more cool stuff. And let's say they'd be allowed to in the machine. But I want to see how far those guys are able to go. And, if they have, how much wrestling skills they have, for the world of professional wrestling. And especially how much their bodies can take, though, because it's just a whooping. So it should be a good one. I mean, the segment hurt my head because it was just none but Dan Lambert talking. Like it could have just been a full-fledged fight and not had to hear him talk. But, can't always get what you want. Sadly. Which, sadly, again, leads us to Ty Conti, Anna Jay, and Thunder Rosa defeating Britt Baker, Rebel, and Jamie Hayter. And I hate to say it, but Anna Jay, no shit. She completely missed that kick to Britt. Like you could clear as day see it. Like, I mean, I know they're not like taking each other's heads off, but I mean, camera angles mean, a lot more to it. I guarantee you, we on TV staring at it with the camera angle where it is right there, pointing in on it, probably notice those things a lot more than people in the live crowd do. It's all happening, there and all that. It's not like the camera zoomed in directly there. So, I mean, they got to get their camera angles going better. I mean, if they get that better, it'll look a lot better. If they just did that. Jamie Hayter is still just a giant ass. That's about all she is. And Britt leaves Rebel hanging, Ty pins her. So I don't know what they're going to do with. I mean, I don't think Ty's going to be the one to dethrone Britt. No offense to her. Britt's on a roll. She's not the greatest thing in the world, but she's, there's much more fundamentally sound people that she could drop the title to. So I don't think that's going to, I think Britt's going to walk away from Full Gear, still champion, to move on to someone else. Again, I'm not complaining about it. When it comes to just the two of them, I mean, Britt is ahead of her as of right now. I mean, everyone's just, obviously, slowly improving here and there, but I just don't see them doing it. Like they got all the other talent in there. I just don't see, Ty being the one. No offense to her. Yeah. It is what it is. That's what I feel. Britt's good. Ty's good. I mean, but stuff we've seen with Anna Jay, miss kicks, it's just, Britt's on too good of a run. I don't think they're going to end that. I could be proven wrong, but I don't think it's ending that way. Jungle Boy defeated Anthony Bowens. I can say the rap against Brian was 1,000 times better than the rapping on the way to the ring tonight against Wednesday night. Yeah, against Jungle Boy. I mean, retiring people faster than your father-in-law. I mean, yeah, that's a good line there. But Jungle Boy wins, via the snare trap submission. Like it was, and again, it was a good match. I'm not taking anything away from the match. The rap sucked, but the bigger thing after that was Bobby Fish attacking Jungle Boy after the match, coming out and doing that. We all know Jungle Boy and what they're doing with the Elite. And Christian and them, Luchasaurus come out for the save, and there's a super click backstage with Adam Cole and the Young Bucks, and they introduce Bobby Fish. La da 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 da. How long he's known him, tells him, take him out on Friday, but to leave some for him for Full Gear, and that there are no disputes in AEW, ergo undisputed. But they can't say that because copyrights and all that. I mean, I like seeing Bobby going out there and just attacking people, being vicious and doing his own thing, but no disputes, ergo undisputed. There they are together again. Can it be a reference about putting them together and doing all that in AEW? I don't think they're going to put it together and do that in AEW. I mean, I don't. They already got enough groups. He's in the super click, and if he suddenly leaves, like they're not going to do it. But I mean, nice references. But I mean, after everything that they went through in NXT, there at the end, Bobby Fish literally vanished for the most part during it all. Like to have him turn around and go back and do it now is I don't know. I'm not like the biggest fan in the world of it. I mean, I just want to see Bobby Fish get to go and do something else, not get put in that situation to where he's just like his crony and doing that. And just another shot over the bow. There's no disputes. NXT and the machine and all of that, at least what it's become and all that, which I know they all love to do. Everyone's taking their shots for the most part, except for like Brian, who's even made one or two here and there, but it's not as bad as everyone else. I just, I guess Bobby's going to be now doing a thing with them. He's going to be part of it. Sadly, if you don't have any new ideas, why not just throw him in there just for something for him to do, which he needs something to do. But I thought he was doing a good job on his own, just, being a miserable prick to people and attacking people. So, it's done. It's done. Let it be done. You get all the people that were in these groups together. Don't just go and start adding people that you worked with there just because. Because, I'm pretty sure at one point didn't like, WCW have a problem with this one group, and suddenly everyone was in it. They kept, it's not exactly the same thing, but positive note, if Bobby Fish does join, at least it'll give Bobby Fish something to do regularly. So I mean, at least some of the stories him attacking people, can make more, they can make more sense then because he's doing it with them. So we'll see where they go with it. I don't, not the biggest fan of it all, and yet another little shot over the bow, but it is what it is. Nothing you can do about it now. Wardlow defeated Wheeler Yuta, even though Orange Cassidy was out there, and Wardlow one-handedly. Like it seemed really fast. The Hardy family office attacks after the match ends, beat down, and Matt hits Orange with a twist of fate with his head in a chair. So I'll see what kind of level of misery and injury and all they play off with that. But I do give them credit. They've drug out this Orange Cassidy, Matt Hardy thing for a long time. So I'll give him that. And the twist of fate with his head in a chair, like, there you go, Matt. But really, Wardlow just beat the hell out of Wheeler Yuta. So we'll see what they do with it. Out of the thing, I'm just impressed that they've drug it out for this long and it's still going. And you're still calling someone a miserable bastard this many weeks in. Like, still has he calling people stuff, so that's good. It's great. Have they possibly drug it out too long with some things? Yeah, but they're still telling it, crunch. Well, not really the greatest, but it's good to see Matt getting to, expand his character because, if he stayed, the machine. What did he do for the longest time? He was just jobbing out to people and getting slaughtered, getting mauled. They wouldn't let him fully do the woken broken thing. They were doing the Hardy Boys thing. Jeff, had his troubles and got hurt and everything else. So, it's good to see him get to expand his character, really, which he did. He went to TNA after he left WWE, and here he is doing it again. So good on him for that. because you know Vince was just going to keep him exactly as Matt Hardy if he stayed there. There wasn't going to be any room for him to do, you know, the Hardy family office or big money Matt, or, you know, if you stayed in WWE before, there wouldn't have been a Woken Bro, there wouldn't have been anything. So I have to give him credit for being able to reinvent himself so much, but see what they do with this whole thing, you know, just like Eddie, you know, Kingston and Punk being separated in the parking lot. I just hope it turns into an ass whooping. Like, I hope they just let them fight. I think they could put on a hell of a fight, tell a hell of a story. You know, that's a Punk's, you know, everyone, you know, could say he's a good storyteller, no matter how you feel about him. And he put on good stories. And you know, I'd like to see really good things happen for, you know, both of them. I'd like it to go down really, really as just one of the best fights you've ever seen. Will it? Who knows? But I think that could be, you know, a really, really good head turner. Like, I think they're both going to look really, really good, which is really the good thing. You know, if you tell a story, you guys are fighting, just beating the hell out of each other, and everyone looks good in the end of it, you know, in the way they're supposed to. Like, that's the best kind of business you can do. So I really hope they let them just beat the hell out of each other. Let it go. Let it obviously still be a wrestling match, but just let them beat the hell out of each other. And I think you'll make everybody happy. Dante Martin and Leo Rush defeated Matt Sydal and Lee Marconi. All I'm going to say is that was a hell of a match. The crowd was into it, really into it. And they did what I've been saying for years, you know, well before I ever started doing this, that those guys are all, you know, cruiserweight weights. If you go by, you know, back in WCW days, the machines, things like all that now, NXT, whatever. Like, this is what, like, that match was what could happen if you let them have more than like a 3 or 4 minute segment. Like, if you let them have time, those guys that are in the cruiserweight division, like they put on hell of matches. Like, I was saying that for years, like, why the hell when Neville was champion, or Murphy when he was cruiserweight champion, like, why the hell did they relegate them all the way down to the pre-show every single time, or give them like 7-second matches on Raw? Like, those guys could go. I don't want to say the crowd was more into like that than any other match that I remember like hearing, just the crowd reacting to it. Like, they were locked into that match between those guys. And again, I've never said anything bad about Leo Rush. You know, it's just his attitude. There's just something about him. But in the ring, like, he's phenomenal. Yeah, I mean, we all knew that. It was just, you know, his piss poor attitude. Everyone kept saying he had that led to his downfall. But like Matt Sydal, you know, Evan Bourne, whatever the hell you want to call him, like, he's always been good. Like, these guys always deserved more time and more matches, even back in the Attitude Era when there was, you know, light heavyweight and a cruiserweight title. Like, here you go. Like, they didn't get the greatest time in the world, but since then, like, it's gotten even worse, and they got rid of all of these big beefy bastards. And then like here's the cruiserweight title. Like, I think if you let those guys, you know, go, like, look at that stuff again. That match there, all of Neville's stuff, Murphy's stuff, like, there was so much good stuff. Even Leo Rush was putting on good matches when he had it. Like they've been on some of the greatest like things ever. They just always get stuck with just bad booking when no one's paying attention. Like, no one's in their seat. Like, most people, like you saw WrestleMania when they did the pre, you know, show. Like, barely anyone was in their seats. People were, you know, either tuning into the pre-show or not even watching it, saying, okay, the main card starts at this point, not wasting my time with all the pre-show. Like, those guys showed exactly why they deserve more time than I think they get, at least in the machine. They do get a lot more time in AEW, which is a very good thing, again, in my eyes, because look what they can do. Like, they are some of the best. You know, they'll put on some of the greatest matches you will see. You just have to actually give them the damn time to do it. You know, giving them like a quick one segment, try to fit in a whole entire, you know, entrances, a whole match, and like arms getting raised. Like, that's just, it's impossible for anyone to put on a match, like, except for like, you know what, Goldberg come in, spear people, done. Ryback when he was on his thing, turn around, meat hook, clothesline, just boom, shell shock, done. Like, there's very few that come in and get a chance, you know, and can do matches in that amount of time. So, hell, Undertaker's like entrance lasted longer than most cruiserweight. Like, just his entrance was longer than most cruiserweight matches for the longest time. So I say give them more time and you can get more stuff like that because everyone, like, the talent is there. You just actually have to give them the time to deliver the pure gold that they can. You can tell me I'm crazy on that one, but I thought like Murphy, Neville, all that stuff. I thought if they put that on like the main card, like instead of the pre-show, so everyone got to see it, like would have helped the stock of 205 Live in the cruiserweight division like completely. Well, it was on the main roster there. Like they deserve the time. So glad AEW gives them the time because again, they're some of the most talented people on the planet with all the stuff they can do, and the crowd's always behind it when there's actually a crowd and capable of, when they give them the time, capable to go and deliver for the crowd, and they give them more in a few minutes. So it's a good giant plus for me, at least for AEW, is the guys that are that size, like Dante Martin's, the Leo Rushes, Matt Sydal, like all of, like they went out there and they tear the house down every time they get you because they're not out there for 3 seconds. So good on them. Bastard Pack defeated Dax Harwood, totally Blanchard in his thing via submission. And I've always been a Pack guy. Neville, whatever the hell you want to call him. Like I just was talking about him there. Like he's so good. And his strikes are crisp. I mean, him and Dax were beating the living hell out of each other, which was always really good. In that match, I must say though, if everyone was barred from ringside, like from the groups, I having Tully there because he's just the manager. Like letting him still be there is just dumb as hell. Like if everyone's barred from ringside, he's standing right there. It doesn't matter why. He's still the manager, which means he's still managing the group, which means he shouldn't have been there. But that's another story. Pack with that beautiful the brain bust, avalanche brain buster off the top rope there. Like that was glorious. That was beautiful. That stuff you'll never see in the machine. So good on that. Like I thoroughly enjoyed that. Pack gets the win. Cash Wheeler after the match continues the beatdown. Lights go out, and they were out for longer than you could tell. Even the commentary guys were expecting it to be. But there's Andre Malachi in the ring to continue the ass whooping. And sooner or later, there comes Cody through the crowd and Lucha Bros, and they come and make the save, and everyone disperses. And Cody, I mean, like it showed up. Like that seemed to be a better, at least good reaction for Cody compared to a lot of them. So. Good on Cody. Like they seem to get in the Lucha Bros and like setting up, the tag team title match coming up for Saturday. And we know that again, Cody and Malachi and all that, they're obviously not done. And I want to see what they're going to do with Pac and Cody together with those two. Because they keep having them there with their save and like all that. So that could be really, really good if they do it right. But I mean, again, Andrade in the ring. I like Andrade in the ring better than I like looking at him or, hearing him. There's just something about him that I've never gotten behind, like the character. There's a lot of people in wrestling history that, like their work far exceeds their character. So, I mean, I'm not talking any trash on anyone there. Malachi, obviously, we all know what he's capable of. Pac, we all know what he's capable of. Cody, we all know what he's capable of. And I think the machine did short side him, the whole Stardust thing. But I want to see what they're going to do with all that once the big payoff's going to be, because there has to be a big payoff at some point. I want to see what it's going to be. Like that's really good. Our Darby and MJF package, obviously. They showed all the highlights. Everyone running their sucks. They gave everyone a few more words here and there, and we all know what MJF can do on the mic. I think it was a good package to put together. It was great for what they needed it to be, and I think it's going to be really good just to see two of the pillars. They really are. Like they weren't lying when they said it, but to see them go at it and see what they put over in it all. As long as they do it right, everyone can get over. Like that's the big one. So do that one right. See what they mention it again. Tonight on Rampage. Will they? Won't they do anything about it? I mean, they only have an hour, so they can't fit a lot in there. But they do have the special that comes on 11 o'clock right after. So I'm sure they're going to do it then. They're going to do all the talking that they can. So that'd be good. And then again, Kenny Omega and Hangman Page contract signed. The Elite and the Dark Order banned from the building for it. Cameraman hits Page with the camera after a bunch of stuff. Ends up being Don Callis in disguise. Shocker. The Elite doing great, doing stuff like that. Kenny signs the contract in Hangman's blood, all of that. Like that's going to be a great match, really. I don't think they're going to Have can he lose this one? It's been almost a year. I think he's still doing, good. And I mean, after the, Omega Danielson won that they had, I think them going at it again would be a great selling point. Again, Page having it, that's great. But this is everything they have going, or, I don't know, Miro too, though. But I think it'll be, it's got to put it on Kenny. I don't like him, but I just look at him and I get mad. It's one of those, but we'll see where they go with it. I think it's still going to be a great, great match. It's been, it's a great story from, where they actually all were together as friends and, and all that. To have it go where it is now, like, I think it's a great story. So don't get me wrong there. It's got to see how it all works out in the end. But overall, I mean, minus, a bad rap, a kick that was nowhere near anyone, Dan Lambert running his suck hole. I mean, really wasn't a lot of, really bad associated with it. So I have to give it, a fairly good episode. A lot less, head hurting than you would expect. So gotta see where they go pull it all tonight, where they pull it all together and wrap it up for the go home, Rampage. Everything technically is a go home before a pay-per-view. So we gotta see what they do there. Kind of stuff they put together, and then they're doing the show afterwards. So that'll, further get to everything. So maybe that means we'll have more, a lot of matches tonight. Hopefully. But I think it's overall going to be a good pay-per-view. I thought Wednesday night, I thought Dynamite was good. So again, minus some small little things, wasn't that bad. I mean, hopefully you guys agree. You can tell me I'm an idiot. It's okay. I am. I know. No, gotta tell me. I already know. So overall good. Got again Rampage tonight, and also before that we got SmackDown, so we could see what all those things look like and have a good conversation about that tomorrow before Full Gear. So we get a good big thing on it. I appreciate you watching though, or listening, however you're doing it. Don't forget to share it out. No matter what you're listening on, you can share it out to your socials. So get it out there to get more people. Comment, tell me what you think. Follow along on all the platforms. The TV screen says it all. Do it across all videos, all everything. I appreciate y'all. Again, very, very, very grateful. So, again, share it out, like it, comment on it, tell me what you think. Enjoy the wrestling tonight, and we'll be back tomorrow. So until then, my friend, peace.